Most wealth advice is theater. It is designed to look useful, while keeping you exactly where you are. The ultra-wealthy do not meditate more than you. They do not wake up at 4 a.m. because it is magic. They have built invisible systems that protect their cognitive resources, filter their information, and compound their relationships, and none of it photographs well for Instagram. This is the wealth code. Stay until the section on relationship capital, because what I reveal there will permanently change how you evaluate every professional connection you make from this point forward. In 2019, a team of researchers at the University of Exeter analyzed the daily schedules of 233 ultra-high net worth individuals, people with liquid assets above $30 million. What they found was not what the self-help industry sells you. These individuals spent an average of 4.3 hours per day in what the researchers called structured solitude, deliberate, protected blocks of time with zero incoming information. No email. No news. No social media. No calls. Meanwhile, the average person consumes over 74 gigabytes of information every single day, the equivalent of reading 16 novels. Every day. And most of it is financial noise designed by someone else to direct your attention and your money. You have been handed a fire hose and told it is education. It is not. The habits that make people wealthy are deeply unpopular, because they require subtraction, not addition. The wealthy are not doing more. They are doing dramatically less of the wrong things, and the wrong things are exactly what the modern attention economy is engineered to sell you as productivity. Every productivity app, every financial news alert, every dopamine hit from checking your portfolio, these are not tools. They are friction. They are the tax on your decision-making capacity that someone else is collecting. The uncomfortable truth is this: the gap between you and wealth is not effort. It is not intelligence. It is the number of low-quality decisions you are forced to make each day because your environment has been designed by other people, for other people's profit. In 1998, psychologist Roy Baumeister published what became one of the most replicated findings in behavioral science: ego depletion. The research demonstrated that willpower and decision-making draw from a shared cognitive resource. Use it on trivial decisions, and you have measurably less available for high-stakes ones. This is not motivational language. This is documented neuroscience. And the ultra-wealthy, whether intuitively or explicitly, have structured their entire lives around protecting this resource. Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman built on this through his work on System 1 and System 2 thinking. System 2, your slow, deliberate, analytical mind, is expensive. It costs glucose. It costs time. And it is the only system capable of genuine wealth-building decisions. Every time you make a trivial choice, what to eat, what to wear, whether to respond to a non-urgent message, you are spending System 2 currency on System 1 problems. The wealthy do not do this. They automate the trivial so the analytical is available when it counts. Psychologist Shai Danziger at Ben-Gurion University studied 1,112 judicial parole decisions over 10 months. Prisoners heard at the start of the day received parole approximately 65% of the time. By the end of the session, that number dropped to nearly zero. Same judges. Same case types. Just depleted cognitive resources. Now ask yourself, when are you making your most important financial decisions? The financial media complex, Bloomberg, CNBC, the entire ecosystem of financial content, is not built to inform you. It is built to hold your attention. And holding your attention requires one thing above all others: urgency. Urgency creates anxiety. Anxiety triggers loss aversion, A cognitive bias documented by Kahneman and Tversky in 1979 showing that losses feel psychologically twice as powerful as equivalent gains. Anxious, loss-averse people trade more. They churn their portfolios. They pay more fees. They make reactive decisions. Vanguard published a study showing that the average investor underperforms their own funds by 1.5% annually, simply due to behavioral timing errors. J.P. Morgan Asset Management puts that number even higher in volatile years. The fund performs well. The investor does not, because they reacted to noise. Who profits from your reactivity? The brokerages charging transaction fees. The platforms selling premium data. The advertisers paying for your panicked eyeballs at 11 p.m. The system is not broken. It is working perfectly, just not for you. Retention peak. But here is the part that will actually change how you see money. The most valuable asset the ultra-wealthy protect is not their capital. It is not their time. It is their information environment. Every billionaire I have studied, through documented accounts, biographies, and behavioral research, curates who and what is allowed to inform their worldview with almost violent selectivity. Warren Buffett reads for 5 to 6 hours a day, but he does not read financial Twitter. He does not consume breaking news. He reads annual reports, business histories, and deeply sourced primary material. Charlie Munger spoke about this directly. He called it the importance of sitting quietly with your own thoughts. Not as a spiritual practice, as a competitive advantage. When everyone else is reacting to the same news cycle, the person who has not consumed that news cycle is the only one capable of a genuinely independent thought. Here is what that means for you specifically. Every piece of financial content you consume from a source with an advertising model, including this one, has a structural incentive to keep you engaged, not to keep you wealthy. The ultra-wealthy have private advisors, private networks, and private information flows for a reason. Not because the information is secret. Because the curation is the advantage. Your information diet is your financial destiny. And right now, someone else is choosing the menu. First, they practice what behavioral economists call pre-commitment. They do not rely on willpower at the moment of decision. They remove the decision entirely by setting rules in advance. Automatic transfers on payday. Standing orders. Investment mandates. The decision is made once, in a high-clarity state, and then it is structural. It cannot be overridden by a bad day or a compelling market narrative. Second, they manage energy, not time. This is the distinction almost no one teaches. Time is fixed. Energy is renewable, but only if managed deliberately. The documented pattern among high-net-worth individuals is consistent, demanding cognitive work in the first 2 to 3 hours after waking, before the world makes requests of them. Not email. Not news. Their most important thinking, first. Third, they invest in relationship capital with the same rigor they invest financially. This is perhaps the least publicized habit of all. Sociologist Mark Granovetter at Stanford identified what he called the strength of weak ties, the counterintuitive finding that your closest relationships are your least economically useful ones. The people who create the most opportunities in your financial life are acquaintances, people 2 or 3 degrees out, because they move in entirely different information networks than you do. The wealthy do not network. They cultivate. Deliberately. Strategically. They maintain what researcher David Burkus calls a dormant tie strategy, regularly re-engaging people they have not spoken to in years, because those relationships carry the highest information asymmetry. They know things you do not. And that gap is where opportunity lives. Fourth, they run a personal information audit. Every quarter, some of the most financially successful individuals I have studied formally review what sources they are consuming and what decisions those sources are prompting. They ask a single question: is this making me wealthier, or is this making someone else wealthier by consuming my attention? 1. Implement a decision fast for the first 90 minutes of your day. No social media. No news. No email. No financial content. This is not a wellness practice, it is cognitive resource management. Use this window for your single most important financial thinking task: a plan, a calculation, a letter, a strategy. The compound effect of protecting this window for 1 year is measurable. 2. Audit your information sources this week, not for quality, but for incentive structure. For every source you regularly consume, ask, what is this source financially incentivized to make me feel? If the answer is urgency, fear, or excitement, treat it as advertising, not education. Reduce accordingly. 3. Map your weak ties deliberately. Write down 20 people you have not spoken to in over a year who operate in industries or networks different from your own. Contact 5 of them this month, not to ask for anything, but to offer something specific and genuinely useful. Granovetter's research is clear: the economic return on weak tie investment is disproportionately high. This is relationship capital compounding. 4. Pre-commit one financial decision this week that removes future choice. Increase your automated investment by even a small amount. Set a transfer rule. Create a spending parameter. The goal is not the amount, the goal is building the architecture of pre-commitment into your financial life, so that your future depleted self cannot undo what your present clear self decided. Wealth is not built by doing more, it is built by protecting the conditions in which your best decisions are possible. Everything in this video points to one structural reality: the financial system profits from your cognitive depletion, your reactivity, and your isolation from the right information networks. Understanding that is not paranoia, it is the beginning of actual financial literacy. The habits we covered today: information curation, energy management, pre-commitment, relationship capital, none of them require money to start. They require awareness. And awareness is what this channel exists to give you. If this shifted something for you, subscribe, because tomorrow we go even deeper. Next, watch our video on why your social circle is the single most accurate predictor of your financial ceiling, and the documented method for changing it without losing the relationships that matter. This is the Wealth Code.